All right, we're here. I'm here. You're here. Thank you for being here. I appreciate your infinite patience this morning. Uh, the dog ate my homework, so it's really interesting dealing with one's physical body. So I've been feeling better, right? Feeling better. Like yesterday was a really good day. Like I got a lot of shit done, and uh, I was out, man. I was in the community. Walmart. It was a big day, really big day going to Walmart, and came home, felt great. Uh, got a new housemate, right? New boarder, and had some dinner with new boarder last night. That was cool, and then had a great conversation with Joan until about an hour. Then I got on the couch, plugged in the show, and I'm like, I'm good. I got my alarm set. I'm good. I just gotta wake up and dude, I'm ready to go, man. I got two shows. In fact, at 10 o'clock, I'll be over on. I'm gonna do 15 minutes of flame today because there's so much there's so much happening, right? And part of the reason why I stopped for a while is because I wanted to write this book, and as soon as I stopped, I got sick, so I haven't been able to write shit. So meanwhile, there's all this content that's taking place, life taking place, and like, okay, well, do you feel well enough to do something? Two shows. Yeah, man, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really good. I can do two shows. So I wind up falling asleep on the couch, and the next thing I know, it's 5 in the morning, and that was probably around I don't know 11 o'clock or so. So I'm into 6 hours of sleep, which is generally pretty good. And I'm like, I'm just gonna go to bed. I got my alarm. Let's see, it's 5. I'll be up in 2 hours. All I need is just 2 more hours sleep. That's all I need. Well, the phone dies. There's no alarm. And the next thing I know, my next door neighbor is ringing my doorbell because everybody thinks I'm dead, which I understand. I completely understand. But the rumors of my demise, again, are far too presumptive at this point. So we're here, and thank you for your patience. It's just a weird ride with this physical body. Just a weird ride, man. It's like great, great, great. Really, I'm just flattened. And so the good news, I don't want to sit here and talk about my condition forever. Lord knows. To me, that's one of the most. And I know that there are people out there who are not doing well physically. My heart goes out to you, literally. Right? But for me, it's like one of the things I never, ever, ever, ever wanted to do is, to be that person who always talked about what's going on with them, right? And then the other person says, "Oh yeah, well, I just got back from the doctors as well, and they put me on the scan, and there's this going on and that going on." And then you have people who are this is like a new reality for me. It's just like a new reality, and then people they start to like ping everybody's they ping each other's condition back and forth. So I'm a big mindset guy, and so they reinforce their condition by constantly talking about what's wrong with that and what the treatment is, and then you basically are connected to your social group, right? And that starts to happen a lot in your social group. And now everybody's having these conversations. And it's like, I don't want to have those conversations. Not because I'm in denial of my physical state, but it's like I think we just have these conversations unconsciously. And the next thing you know, we're just reaffirming these these conditions or these whatever they are, right? Like we begin to reaffirm that stuff, and it becomes its own agency, and it begins to act in our lives. And the next thing you know, we're those, like we're going to be those people. That's going to happen. As you can see, I'm like in the bear ring with my mortality in some ways, right? But I do think that we have to be more conscious, and people fall into this unconscious pattern about talking about what's, and I think it's good because people need support. Don't get me wrong, people need support, but I just feel like I don't want to be that person. Oh yeah, I got this thing with my back. It's my fifth lumbar, and all that shit is true for the most part. But you'd be amazed, like what happens when you don't give something attention. You'd be like an alarm clock. You'd be amazed. Now my phone died. There's something going on with my phone too. That's it. See, now I can bitch about my phone. Everybody can bitch about their phone. Everybody can bitch about their phone. So we're here. Thank you. That's the genesis of my being, at least at this time. I got an hour because we're doing it 15 minutes of fun. There's way too much to talk about. I gotta get it on the record. I gotta get it on the record. By the way, I love you Pisces people. You're the best. You're the most creative people in the zodiac. Probably the nicest. Like most Pisces people I've met are really nice. Except my mother. Now, my mother was incredibly nice if she wasn't your mother. And I know you know what I'm talking about because I know you know that you have a version of that in your own life where you had it, where your mother was like, the five faces of Eve or whatever, right? With you, she was a completely different person. And with everybody else, she was a saint. Right? And the world was like, oh my God, she's incredible. And then you watch them interact, like, wow, you're really nice to those people. They really like you. What the fuck happened here? Right? No, seriously, I know some of you have experienced that. Anyway, Pisces people are really nice. Even my schizoid Pisces mother was like, when you met her, people fucking loved her. You guys have met her, you loved her. You got the best of Pisces. So they're nice, passionate, loving, creative people. Great sign. It's a great sign. And I am not here to denigrate Pisces. Too much Pisces influence now. I'm like this island of Virgo, and I get hit all the time with these tsunamis and waves of Pisces, and I'm like this kind of. I was watching this video of these. God, it's fucking amazing. You don't know these things exist until you actually see them. I was watching this video of an oil derrick in the North Sea. It's a big operation, right? They're extracting petroleum from far beneath the bottom of the North Sea, one of the most raging places on the planet in terms of what's going on with the ocean, right? And I'm watching this oil derrick in the North Sea basically go up and down like a shock absorber. And I'm like, what? How does this fucking happen? It's a very Piscean thing. It's this oil operation because the elements are just brutal, right? And I'm like, that oil derrick is Virgo, and I'm surrounded by the North Sea. It's a little dramatic, I know, but it's an apt metaphor in some ways. Anyway, Pisces. Self-acceptance. I see there's a lot of justification around Pisces, like what they're capable, and the definitions of words don't mean anything. That's the other thing. Like, what does a word even mean? That's just like this is Pisces guy on Twitter that I'm getting into this discussion with. And he says, "Oh, I'm unfiltered. Pisces are unfiltered." I don't think Pisces are unfiltered. They're very filtered. They're incredibly filtered, right? Like, this is the nature of Pisces. They're filtering everything because they don't want to offend anyone. They don't want to get in any disagreements or arguments, right? That's the nature of Pisces. If there's like if there was something physical called a confrontation, like, and it was like in the road, like whatever it was, this physical thing that represented confrontation. The Pisces would drive fucking around town to avoid it, and I'm being honest. Every sign has their strengths and weaknesses. Confrontation with Pisces is not one of them. Trust me. Raised by one, had one, have had relationships with Pisces. I understand it. I get it. My South Node is in Pisces. Been there. I've been there. There's hope. I'm sorry. I'm busting chops over Pisces, but it's kind of true. But unfiltered, how do you fuck up a word called unfiltered? To me, that's the bizarre part. Unfiltered. What does that even mean? Unfiltered. I'm like, dude, Pisces are not unfiltered. You want unfiltered? Give me a Sagittarius. Well, they're kind of shoot from the hip. Well, isn't that unfiltered? Isn't shooting from the hip kind of unfiltered? Like, they don't put what they're going to say through how people are going to feel about what filter. That, to me, that's unfiltered. And I said, give me Gemini rising. They're unfiltered. We'll just talk shit. We'll talk shit. Good shit, bad shit, happy shit, negative shit, gossipy shit, insightful shit. Doesn't matter. It's all come from the same place, and it's all, guess what? Unfiltered. Because that's what they do. Or give me an Aries who's got through about 3 days worth of aggravation. Then you get unfiltered. Like, these are all aspects of being unfiltered. Get a Capricorn in a business situation. They're going to tell you they're going to tell you what they need to do. What needs to happen. Do they care about your feelings? Not really. Because that's not what Capricorn does. So they may filter it slightly, but at the end of the day, there's a goal, there's an objective, and that's it. They're executing on the objective. This is what Capricorn is here to do. Execute on the objective. Pisces is here to navigate the subjective. And I'm here to tell all you Pisces, you're just fine. And I don't mean this in a demeaning or deriding way. You're just fine. Everything about you is cool. You're creative, you're loving, you're peaceful, you're high beings. Don't stress out about it. You don't have to prove anything to anybody and how cool and unfiltered or whatever you are. And it's this new breed of astrologer too. It's a younger astrologer, you can tell. You can totally tell. Younger breed of astrologer. And he's going, well, if you apply Egyptians, like, I don't give a fuck about Egyptian bounds. I don't give a fuck about what kind of parameters you put on something so you can define it in a way that allows you to have a subjective experience that matches up with whatever you think that thing is or means. It doesn't work that way. You don't reshape astrology or reality. You don't change the word unfiltered so that you can somehow fit in it in your Piscean definition. It's just weird. He's like, well, to me, unfiltered is like kind of going with the flow, man. I'm like, no, that's not unfiltered. I get where you're coming from. That's not unfiltered. That's just lazy. It's just lazy. I'm not lazy. I was just tired pushing my body. So I overslept. My body has been demanding that I sleep. Okay. I got years of sleep backlog that apparently is now doing everything in its power to catch up with me. Because my body's been through some very significant healing process. I'm getting better, not quite there. Give me a couple of weeks. Give me a couple of weeks, I'll be talking show. That's like already am. Anyway, welcome. That was a nice little opening salvo. That was, guess what? That was unfiltered. That was unfiltered. I didn't run anything through anything in my brain. If I say this, how are they going to feel about it? How's it going to make the conversation? That's unfiltered. I guess Virgo can be unfiltered sometimes. Not always in a flattering way either. You know what I'm talking about? Like Virgo being unfiltered. Like they're going to tell you, well, this is where you fucked up. Right? That's the whole Virgo. This is where you fucked up. Let me show you where you fucked up. That's a little too unfiltered. A lot of people don't like to hear that. I've been having a hell of a time with this Saturn retrograde. Let me tell you. This Saturn retrograde is doing a number. Like something's going on in a deep way with this Saturn retrograde in my fourth house. Is anybody else like dealing with this Saturn retrograde like in a I'm not struggling with it, but it is like where the fuck is this shit coming from? Like this is not my normal operating system. I'll give you a case in point, and then we'll move into the show. This is all astrology, so it's not like we haven't started the show. But I got stuff I want to talk about besides this. Although I did want to talk about this. Okay, so I like to keep astrology simple. Believe it or not, I like to keep it simple. If you just figure out where Pisces is in your chart, simple to do. If you have a chart, find out where Pisces is. Outside of that ring, you'll see the sign of Pisces. Let's bring up the chart. That way we can give you actual visual cue for what I'm talking about. Because this is, by the way, shout out to Tom. Thank you for ringing up Larry. Appreciate that. You're not here anymore, but you're here, certainly here, and more than just spirit. So thank you for that. Okay. What the fuck is going on here? Why can't I share this? This. That's where I get in trouble. But that was an unfiltered moment. I said, motherfucker. And then I realized, oh, well, Robert, I like watching Robert, but he swears a lot sometimes. I'm like, I don't fucking swear. But that was one of those moments. Like, why did he have to say motherfucker? He's a grown man. He's no longer one of those guys that wears baseball cap backwards. Ditch the motherfucker. All right, so let's go to this. This is there's Pisces right there. Right there. There's Saturn, the culprit, 29 degrees. So if somebody were born at 8 a.m. on this morning, this is what their chart would look like. Virgo rising, Sun in the 12th house, Neptune Saturn conjunction, the 7th. I'm not sure about this chart. Mom, please, can you get up a little earlier? Can you get me on the ascendant over here, Mom? So I can have it be a double Virgo and make your life a living hell if you fuck up. And then Neptune, Saturn. I actually like Saturn in the 7th house. I don't think it's a bad placement for Saturn. I like it better than the 7th and the 7th and the 8th. This is an ideal chart. But today, the star of the day is one of the, I'm doing kind of a non sequitur because it's like hit my brain now. The star of the day is one of the most successful men in the history of this country. And I look at his chart and guess what? It screams average. How does this happen? Right? How does this happen? I get to look at somebody who has lived a very unaverage life with an average chart and try to make sense of it. And I think I have a map to get there. And a lot of times with astrology, let me just say this. With astrology, people will look at your chart and they'll say, my chart sucks. I don't have a really interesting, like this chart is not that interesting. Although 40 years from now or 30 years from now, whoever was born with this chart, they might be president of the fucking United States of America. It's like, well, okay, where is it in there? Or whatever we're doing at that time, right? So what I'm saying is that even though you think you have a chart that may be average or boring or dull or you'd like to change some things, set and setting are really important in a person's life. The chart matters a lot, but it's not everything. And I have said this throughout the years. Astrology is a really, really, really great tool. It is a great tool. It is not everything. We have to have wiggle room for some other things in our lives, like where we were born, who we were born with, the time that we were born in. All those things matter, right? They all matter. The chart plays it. You can see some of that in the chart. Oh, there's your third house. Oh, yeah, you got this issue with one of your siblings. He used to steal all your shit when you were a kid and hide it, traumatize you, and now you hoard things. Well, like there's stories inside the chart that match lives. Sometimes there are not. And that's when it gets tricky, right? We are genetic, we are epigenetic, and we are astrogenetic. All three of those things come into play. The genetic stuff we inherit, right? We get the DNA from our parents. Sometimes this can be reflected in the chart. In most cases, it can be, not always. Epigenetics, how and where we're raised, who we're raised with. Fourth house territory, I get it. It's where our values are coming from. We can have that discussion. But those things, they matter, right? They matter. I'll give you an example. When I was about 6 or 7 years old, I'm about 6. This time I'm an only child, 6 years old. And I'm not, you're an only child at 6. You kind of roll. It's kind of like your show, right? Do I really want anybody else? Do I want to hear that marquee? up there. There's my name up there. Do I want another name below that or above that? I don't know. So one day my parents come up to me, very earnest. There's a very earnest moment, very loving moment. Like I actually really respect my parents for doing this because it changed the course of my life, changed the course of their life, changed the course of perhaps another life. It changed the course of thousands of lives when they asked me this one question. And the one question was, would you like a little brother or sister? They asked me that. They had the respect that I actually am very thankful that some parents wouldn't do that. They just start, oh yeah, it's like little brother's on the way. They asked me that. And I thought about it, like, well, let me just size this up. I get all the gifts at Christmas. Even though we don't have that much money, I still get home. We go someplace, it's just me and them, and then I get introduced, and then I get all this attention. That's cool. Okay, can I take care of myself? Yeah, I haven't gotten into many fights, but I think if I'm 6 years old, I could probably take care of myself. I have all these thoughts. I'm like, no, I'm good. Thanks for asking, though. I'm good. And they never had another kid. Never brought it up again. Like they never had I think they were relieved in some ways, actually. They're like, oh, thank God you know. What would have happened if you said yes? What we'd have, we have to make more money. Who knows? It might have been the best thing for them. They might have had to step up their game a little bit. Or, I don't know how it would work. That is epigenetics. This is what I'm talking about. Introducing another factor into a person's life changes their life. All of a sudden, my third house in Aquarius, my Chiron there, in Aquarius would be something very different. I got the sibling who can't do anything wrong. That's what I would get. Can't do anything fucking wrong. How come you can't be more like your little brother? What are you talking about? I'm a junior in high school. I know, but your little brother who's in fifth grade is doing so much better than you did in fifth grade. Oh, yeah, well, you got him now. You get the roll with that. No, I'm cool. I'm good with it, right? But it would have changed my life. Would we be having this discussion right now if I thought in a moment of weakness? Let's say I was lonely that moment. Because as an only child, you get lonely every now and then. Because it's like, man, what the fuck am I going to do now? Who's around? How am I going to entertain myself for the next 6 hours? There's nobody here. It could have been one of those moments, like, man, I was really lonely. Yeah. Give me a guy. How long is it going to take? 9 months? I guess I could wait. But I'm 6. I'm freaking 6. By the time the kid is 4, we're having a conversation. I'm 10. I might be having a fun conversation with a 4-year-old. Move him up another 4 years. He's 8. I'm 14. He's in the first grade. I'm like a freshman in high school, and he's in the 4th grade. What are we going to talk about? I mean, it could be fun and everything. I can teach him baseball or whatever. I think it would have been probably pretty good big brother. What if it was a girl? Could have been a girl. Like, oh my God, how do I relate to this? And move it forward. They're what? They're 8. I'm 14. Add 3 more onto that. Right, they're 11. I'm graduating from fucking high school. Right? They're not even a part of my life at that point. There's like a 6-year age disparity. I'm almost like their uncle or something, right? Anyway, had that child been introduced into my life, we would not be having this conversation. I'm pretty convinced of that. So epigenetics means something. Your environment means something. Your genetics mean something. The time you're born in means something. All those things. Like, and they all, look, we can say, all right, well, I'm born with Pluto and Virgo. So that time does mean something. Pluto and Virgo mean something as a result of that. The outer planets mean something. Neptune, Uranus, they all mean something based on the greater milieu. And that is true. That is totally true, 100%. You could go 1-to-1 on stuff like that, go deeper, and split, subdivide, right? Have a narrative, meaning, all that stuff. It's there. But you cannot deny that that was the time. I did not come of age in the 90s. I came of age in the 70s. I was 10 years old in 1970. That's what I call coming of age. So all those things in the 70s really influenced me in a huge, huge way. And yeah, Neptune and Sag. I had it on my ascendant at a young age, right? 11, 12, I started drinking. That's the transit, right? So astrology works. I'm telling you, it works. As soon as Neptune hit my ascendant, I'm hanging out with my buddy whose father has a beer keg in his refrigerator in the garage. I'm like, your dad's got a fucking beer keg that's refrigerated all the time in the fucking garage? Let's go. His father drank shitty beer too. I couldn't believe it. Although when you're young, it doesn't really matter, right? Because beer is beer. It's all bitter. It's like you think beer is really good. It's like, I'm drinking beer. This is really good. And you keep convincing yourself, oh, I love this sour taste. Oh, this, and it's foamy and it makes me burp. Let me have some more of this bitter brew. Oh yeah. Because I know it's doing things to me and I shouldn't be drinking it, but it's really good. Like that's what happens generally with beer. You get a mixed drink, right? Equal parts sugar, a little bit of tart. You drink that thing, you're like, wow, what is this? This is better than any soda I've ever had, right? Because it tastes really good. Like I remember the first time I drank a hit of a 7 and 7. Like my mother's drink, because it's a party or something, right? Man, what does this taste like? Let me try it. I don't know how old it was. 11, 12, 13, who knows? So I drank this 7 and 7. Like, man, this is pretty fucking good. I can get used to drinking this. I swear to God. 7 and 7. That's what my mother drank. 7 and 7. But that's not like beer. Beer, you got to convince yourself that you're actually enjoying it when you're young. You can enjoy beer now. It's a different trip. But back then, you're telling yourself, these Spanish beer is really good. No, it's not. It tastes bitter. Anyway, this guy's father had Hams. Hams fucking beer. He had a mini keg of Hams in his refrigerator. And one day, we hit that Hams one day like it was the Tet Offensive. I swear to God. We must have had 20 beers one day. It was the first day. It was the day that I can say officially I got drunk. And it took me about 20 beers to get there. I was 12. I'm like, what's up with this alcohol stuff? 20 beers in. I'm feeling good, but I'm not feeling like, stupid drunk. Well, it's Ham's beer. That's why. It took 20 of them to make something happen. Anyway, that's Neptune on the ascendant. Astrology is a thing. It works. There's a story to tell, but it doesn't tell the entire story, right? It doesn't tell the, and you're like, you're an astrologer. Why are you telling us that? Do you not believe in astrology? Of course, it works. I've been doing this for too long. It works. But at the end of the day, is the totality of who you are? The answer is no. The totality of who you are is way bigger than your chart. Way, way bigger than your chart. Trying to fit the totality of who you are inside of the lexicon of astrology to help you better understand your charts, clearly doable. And astrologers, let me give you one more bit about astrology. Astrologers need to know how to communicate. They need to know how to communicate. They need to know how to talk about a chart. They need to know how to talk to people. They need to know how, there are things about astrology that they won't teach you. Like, you could go through the astrology course at astro.com. And then what they won't teach you is they won't teach you how to talk to people. They won't teach you how to explain something. Everybody has their own way of going about navigating through a chart. They may teach you a little, but nobody's going to teach you that. I should just do a course. I would be interested in that. The etiquette of astrology, or the etiquette and the articulation of astrology. There's a lot of astrologers, they study this, they read this, they talk amongst themselves, they develop their own language sets, right? And then they within those language sets, usually what happens, they communicate with their peers. Like somebody who's really into Chris, what's his name? The whole Hellenistic astrology. Oh yeah, Egyptian bounds. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for reminding me about how when you work the Egyptian bounds in, it feels, Pisces does feel a little different here. That is a generational lexicon. But it's like they can't, it's just weird. You can explain that, but your definition of unfiltered makes no sense. I'm sorry, I'm getting off on a little bit of a sidetrack there. But astrologers don't know how to talk to their clients. They just don't. For a number of reasons. We're not schooled in it. We're not trained in it. Nobody's sitting down with astrologers and saying, if you say this to somebody, they are going to hear it and it is going to impact their lives. And they are going to live from this moment forward with the thing that you say. I can't do anything about the mic. I'm having an issue with StreamYard. So thanks for the text. I get it. There's nothing I can do about it. If I could do something about it, I would. It would have happened by now. I'm not trying to be a smartass. But this is what happens. You say the wrong thing and you got somebody living in fear. How does that work for them? Well, I had this reading. And I said this was going to happen, and it's like, oh, yeah, you got some bad shit there. Somebody gave you some really, really bad advice. Somebody gave you a really, really bad interpretation. And now you've been living with this for the last year, waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm telling you, it happens. And even to the best of us. You know, I had this client, great, I can't say enough good things about her. And she was all set up for this interview and this gig. And, you know, I think we both went into this thing thinking they want her, done deal. It's going to happen. Right? She just needs to negotiate the terms and conditions, figure out what she's going to do. And I get this text from her, and a half an hour into the interview, they pull the offer. Now, did I see that? I wasn't looking for that. Right? Like, that's not what I was looking for. If I had a note in my brain and I'm asking myself, hey, is this thing actually even going to happen? Let me check this. And it's like an engine, and you run things through a diagnostic, and it's like, wow, maybe this thing may not happen the way it's supposed to happen. I wasn't looking for that. Right? In that moment, what I'm attempting to do is like help this person navigate, look at the astrocartography, what's the company like, okay, there's all these things. And it's like, Now what do you do? Like now, as an individual, now what do you do? Well, we talked about it. We'll find out more about it today. Right? But that's not what I was looking for. I was looking for other stuff, right? Like, okay, well, this is done. It's a fait accompli. What's it look like? It wasn't a fait accompli. Out of nowhere, situation changed. So anyway, as an astrologer, like for me, here's where the Virgo part comes. I'm kicking myself in the ass. Like, why couldn't I see it? Why couldn't I see that the sun, like who was driving this company, is going to take this thing sideways in about 30 minutes? Because as an astrologer, if you're good, you go through things in your brain and you think, okay, what was going on here? In fact, I'm going to go back and look at that stuff, and I'm going to go back over it with a fine-tooth comb. And it's like, how can I have seen that in that moment? Anyway, and I see a lot of, but I wasn't looking because we had a different agenda. There's a different agenda on how do I help this person work through the interview process? I had no idea that the interview process was going to be Gaza. That's the way it goes sometimes. That's life. Right? You can't, the chart is really good. Astrology is really good. It is a huge part of my life. It's created something that has changed my life and the life of other people. Right? This is gonna, I'll hang my hat on astrology and these various systems, probably until I tap out. So it's not going anywhere. Right? But on the other hand, too, like there's more. There's more. It's a system. It's a system like any systems have a ceiling and they're finite. And that's the nature of systems in general. They all have their ceiling, and we come to the end of a system. Sagittarians know this. I'm really bummed about the mic thing. So, okay, we've run into this before. I thought we solved it. I thought StreamYard solved it. But apparently, there's no solving. Yeah, I wish I could solve this motherfucker. See, I said it again. All right, let's get into the astrology. Let's talk Mars and Libra. We have entered the social justice moment with Mars and Libra. We've entered the social justice moment. When did we enter it? Yesterday on Capitol Hill, when all of those women came out and started talking about what happened to them during the Epstein moment. Remember, I've been telling you about this Mars and Libra. It needs to cause social justice. This is so fascinating for me. This is like the flip side of Me Too. Me Too was, in some ways, fake as fuck. You want fake as fuck. A lot of Me Too was fake as fuck. Some of it wasn't. But most of it was. You had a lot of young women basically sleeping for parts in movies. That's what they were doing. In Weinstein world, they let Weinstein jack off in front of them so that they could get a part in a movie. Hell, 99% of America or the world would do that. If I had a conversation with every woman who's watching this stream right now, and I said, hey, look, here's the deal. You have to sit there and play with your breasts for 10 minutes while Harvey Weinstein jerks off. But guess what's going to happen? You're going to get a 3-movie deal. And in one of those movies, you'll be in a Tarantino film. You get into a Tarantino film, it changes your life forever. 10 minutes, right? 10 minutes of pretending that you're turned on by Weinstein and playing with your boobs and saying naughty things to him so that he and his egg-shaped little penis could have an orgasm and you're set for 3 movies. How many of you would do that? Be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. Be totally honest. You're 21, 22, right? 23, maybe you're a better person or more well-rounded. Your character wouldn't go there. 22, 23 years old, 19, 20. You might go there. You're like, shit, all I got to do is play with my titties for 20 minutes, talk dirty to them, and I got a 3-movie deal. Now, some of you will say, I would never do that. And I agree with you. There are people here watching this stream that would not do that. And that's why you're watching me instead of somebody else. And I appreciate that. So a lot of you have character. In fact, you all have character. Good character. I'm assuming. I haven't met all of you, but the ones that I have met, you all pass the test. You're 20. Come on. Women are going to do that shit. What? I don't have to fuck him? No, I'm in. Here you go, Harvey. Oh, yeah. You're so manly. Oh, my God. Yeah. Oh, Harvey, you turned me on so much. If I wasn't 15 feet away from you, I'd be on top of you, but I can't go there. I'm just too in the moment right now. So that's where you need your Pisces to kick in. Oh, yeah. Convincing Harvey Weinstein that you're too in the moment. That you can't stop. Sorry, I can't go there right now. I'm just too in this moment. You take care of yourself. It's okay. Let me know if you need a towel. A lot of that stuff wasn't me, too. A lot of that stuff was bandwagon jumping. My career's irrelevant. Right? My last name is Argento. And I'm about to become more famous because my chef boyfriend is going to kill himself. But that's not for another couple of years. Until then, I can really milk this Harvey Weinstein. It really starts in a lot of ways with Asia Argento. She's one of the first people that comes out. Oh, you made me do this. Asia Argento, the daughter of Dario Argento, right? The Italian horror director. You ever watch his movies? They're dark. Really, really dark. Like all the horror directors love him because he's like the first really fucking dark horror director. Like he takes horror into another realm. And his daughter's in most of his movies, okay? That's Asia Argento. She's in these twisted fucking horror movies that her father would. And by the way, somebody who Quentin Tarantino absolutely loved from a directorial standpoint. She's the one. She's been dealing with horror and monsters all of her life. And now the biggest monster of them all, the one who jumped off the screen, Harvey Weinstein. She gets up at a big press conference, gets money, and starts the ball rolling. That's where Me Too starts. Asia Argento, Harvey Weinstein, and everybody gets caught up. And you got, and they all seem to be masturbators too. Have you noticed that? Like Louis C.K., that's all he wanted to do. Please, let me just masturbate in front of you. I don't really want to fuck you. I just want to masturbate in front of you. He gets caught up in it. Ruins his career. He gets Me Too. And it all seems to be these masturbators. Like they didn't even fuck these women. He viciously tied me down and held me down. He stuffed a plastic ball in my mouth and taped it with duct tape. And I had to sit there and take it. Hey, maybe some of that happened. But in most cases, she's sitting there watching this guy wank off. Okay, I got a deal. That was Me Too. That was me fucking too. It wasn't real. Men are running around looking through their emails. Got their attention. Oh shit, what did I miss? What are they going to find on me? Scrub it, scrub it. Hiring professional services. Scrub, scrub, scrub. That's what they did. They scrub. This is not Me Too. This is something different. This is kind of like the real. Look, I have a lot of things to say about what happened yesterday from a different place. I'll save that for the next show. There's a link for it. Maybe somebody could leave it in chat. That would be awesome if you could do that. But it's Mars and Libra. This is what we're dealing with, right? And Jupiter's making everything much bigger. That's the square. And we get into Jupiter and Cancer, and it's about women. Some of those women might be mothers, although that'd be an interesting conversation. Mars and Jupiter makes everything just bigger, right? Like the values. And Jupiter and Cancer has values, and they're traditional. They're traditional values. They are not weird. They're not outside. This is not Jupiter and Aquarius. It's not Jupiter and Sag and like, let me do whatever the fuck I want. You know, it's not Jupiter and Pisces. Yeah, I'll have another drink. No, this is Jupiter and Cancer, and these are traditional American, generally human values. That's what Jupiter and Cancer celebrates. It celebrates the family. It celebrates the home. It celebrates the things, the normal shit in our lives. Like just going to be able to get like an ice cream cone, you know, with your kids or your grandkids, and go down by the river, and, you know, hang out, talk about when you know, were young and used to go there and fish with your grandfather, whatever, looking on your ice. That's like Jupiter and Cancer stuff. It's generational. It's multi-generational. It's very conservative. It doesn't scream wild or crazy, right? So when you throw Mars in there, you square it off against Jupiter, and you put those young women, not young anymore, but you put those women on Capitol Hill, and what are they going to do? They're protesting. It is a protest, by the way. If you haven't noticed it, it is a protest. Is going to be an assault on people's values and their value system and the lack thereof. Again, we'll get into it, but this is what this is a big moment, right? And we tend to gloss over things, but here we go. Mars at what, 18 degrees, Jupiter at 18 degrees exact. Like this is not going to happen again for another 2 years, right? In the square mode. And in 2 years, Jupiter will be in Virgo, and the Mars will have to be in Sagittarius, and we'll get the square. It'll happen again, but it won't happen in Pisces and Libra. I'm sorry, Cancer and Libra. It won't. We won't see Jupiter in Cancer again for 12 fucking years. So when we get this Mars-Jupiter square, it's not going to be in this configuration. Not every Mars-Jupiter square is the same. So we're seeing a very specific, like, appellation of it. And it is, I have been saying this for well over a decade when I first discovered Mars and Libra. And I first came across this idea of being woke, right? Or the DEI shit. Or like when I first started to really dive into this, and we're talking like 2010, 2009. Like I'm starting to go into these places where other people are not even thinking about. I'm living in Berkeley, California. I am on the front fucking lines of high strange, and I'm seeing it. I'm watching it happen. I can see where everything is going. I'm living in Obamaville. Like there was about a 99% Obama vote rate in the zip code that I lived in. Go 2-3 other zip codes out. We're probably talking about a 98% Obama rate. This is 2008, 2000. I can see it. Oh, yeah. Isn't this interesting? Oh, it's like Whitey's going to have a bit of a tough row here for the next few years. I actually was having those conversations in my brain. That, at that time, I'm an astrologer, of course. That's what I'm doing. I'm really launching now. Like, I really launched my practice in 2008. So by 2010, like I'm deep into it. I'm like, doing 2-3 readings a day. God, it was such a long time ago. But you run across. Okay, well, let's get into these, stations of Mars and Libra. Let me get into that. Let me study that for a while. And that had gone on way before that. Anyway, I'm like, then you see the phenomenon of social justice, which is an East Bay phenomenon. These social justice schools come out of Berkeley. Berkeley Day is a notorious socialist incubator for kids. It is K through 12. They are gonna take your brain and they're gonna cook it. They're gonna cook your noodle in a broth of Marxism and second, third wave feminism. That's what happens at Berkeley Day. Berkeley has another school as well. They have these two schools. And so you're in that, this is how you're shaped. I watched it. I watched all these brains being shaped. One of my best friend's daughters went to Berkeley Day. We'd go there and pick her up from school. I'd hear about their homework assignments. What the fuck is going on with this school? School doesn't sound like a regular school to me. That's Mars and Libra. They are producing SJWs, social justice warriors. What's the cause this week? Their parents, right, are coming out of like the 60s and the 70s where being an activist was really important. You had to deal with these corporations and their land grabs. And, there were people from that time who did actually really good work. He said, whoa, wait a minute. We're going to dump that into our water supply. You can't do that. That's where a lot of this stuff, the real version of it, comes up. Anyway, Mars and Libra, I'm looking at this, man. Mars and Libra needs a cause. It needs a cause. Give me that cause. I need that thing so I can rally against what's unfair. And you get the full brunt of Mars and Libra, and it's dealing with unfairness. Look out. One of the reasons why we've had such a challenging time in this country with the exact same thing I'm talking about is because the progressed Mars in the U.S. chart is in Libra. Okay? It's going to be there for a long time. So we in this country have been dealing with Mars and Libra and progressed chart for decades. And you wonder why we've had to deal with this shit. It's because it's in the progressed chart. Well, this is a balancing, right? Just like we had, I'm sorry, most of Me Too is fake. Sorry, not sorry. This is balancing it out. Like this shit, and again, I have things to say about it, but this is real. Somebody said on my Twitter feed, it's all fake theater. No, it's not fake theater. It's not fake theater. These things happen. These women were hired. They were hired. They got paid, okay? Now, it doesn't mean that their stories aren't worth hearing. They're worth hearing. Right? They're like they need to be heard on so many levels. They need to be heard. But let's get one thing straight. They were paid. Nobody put a gun to their head and said, you need to jerk Bill Gates off right now. You get in that room. Maybe it was a metaphoric gun. I don't know. They didn't, maybe in some cases they did. I wasn't there for everything. But these girls talked about being recruited. Who were they recruited by? Their friends. Their friends recruited them. Hey, I got this great summer job. I'm doing rub and tugs, massages every now and then. You know, I let a guy do it with me, and I get paid amazing money. You know, look at her. She's driving an Alfa fucking Romeo. Wow, how did you do that? Oh, come on over. I want to introduce you to somebody named Elaine. She's really cool. That happened. Okay, it happened. Those are transactional relationships. Were they right? Probably not. They're 14, 15 years old. This is who we're seeing talk now. We're seeing the 14, 15-year-olds who did not settle their lawsuits. This is all Mars and Libra stuff. This is SJW stuff. And if I told you Thomas Massey was leading an SJW wave 2 years ago, you would think that I was nuts. If I said to you, you know who Thomas Massey is? Thomas Massey is going to lead an SJW wave. And he's going to be hated for it. You'd have to ask yourself, well, there's got to be some kind of a reason for that. Yeah, there is. It's Mars and Libra. It's the flip side of social justice. All right, let's talk about our star of the day since we don't have a lot of time left. I've been ranting a bit here. So here's our star of the day. Henry Ford II. Let me see if I can put this in about 5 minutes worth of analysis. This guy might be one of the most interesting people nobody's ever spent much time with in the history of this country. This guy pretty much single-handedly saved the United States. What do I mean by that? I just need to talk about this guy a little bit more. This dude's fascinating. He's really, really super, super fascinating. I gotta move my my time to 15 minutes. Only because I need to talk about this guy just a little bit. And I'm going to give myself about 15 more minutes here. Okay. Thank you. So let's rewind this. He was kind of a fuck up, this guy. He was the son of Edsel Ford, grandson of Henry Ford. So he's Henry Ford II, right? Like Henry doesn't even name his own kid after him. He names him Edsel. And then he names the worst fucking car in the world after his son. He didn't like Edsel. He liked his grandson, though. So World War II is on. This guy's a fuck up. But he manages to get into the armed forces and do pretty well. Like all of a sudden, you know, he's not so much of a ne'er-do-well. He kind of figures things out, right? We're in this war. It's called World War II. And his brother, his father, is running Ford. And at that time, we're in this war, and they need all these tanks, and they need all this shit to go fight the war. And Ford has been tasked with ramping up the American military might for World War II. While he's away on the war front, his father, Edsel, dies. Henry Ford, who's 80 years old, has to come back to the plant to oversee the manufacture of tanks, trucks, Jeeps, half tracks, right? He's got to be, he's 80 years old, right? 80 years old. That's like Donald Trump getting up every day, which he kind of does, but going to a Ford fucking plant in the 1940s to oversee production on a bunch of vehicles they've never made before, and that they're responsible for the lives of the people who are going to get behind the wheels of these vehicles and actually operate them. It's a huge task and responsibility. It's your company. You've built it. And now all of a sudden, you're hanging out, you're down by the river, having an ice cream with the kids, and you got to go back to work, and it's too much for him. He can't handle it. And the United States government needs those vehicles. What do? They give this guy, Henry Ford II, a pass. And they're like, you got to get, you're still in the army, but go back home and help your father. We need these vehicles. And that's what he does. He goes in and he changes the manufacturing process to build all these vehicles. And by doing that, he's setting the stage for Ford and Detroit for the next 30 years. Because the manufacturing process for the car that's right behind him starts with World War II. And if it's not for Henry Ford being able to come in, rein in the chaos, run the Ford plant, and then, to me, this is really the part where it gets like fascinating. Because people accuse his grandfather of being an anti-Semite, right? Like his grandfather wrote this book called The International Jew. Henry Ford Sr. was, if he was around today, he'd be Nick fucking Fuentes, okay? Fuentes would be a better version of Henry Ford Sr. So now he's going to essentially build the vehicles that will defeat the enemy of his enemy. Put that in your brain and compute that. I'm not talking about this guy. I'm talking about his grandfather. When he takes over Ford after the war, Ford is nearly bankrupt. They've got $200,000, seriously, left in their bank account. And this guy, Henry Ford II, does things that his father and his grandfather, particularly his grandfather, couldn't do. He makes deals with unions. And he gets the unions on his side. His grandfather didn't do it. His father hated unions, thought the unions were scum, hired union busters, beat the shit out of these guys. And it got so bad that his first son, Edsel, he and Edsel, they went over it, man. They went through this thing. And Edsel was pro-union. Edsel didn't like what his father was doing. And his mother basically said to Henry Ford Sr., you either change your stance on the unions or I'm leaving you. So she's basically siding with the son. And Henry Ford Sr. finally relents and says, okay, we'll do these deals. But it's like now they own a part of my company. I understand where Henry Ford Sr. was a Leo, by the way. Or the first. But Henry Ford II can make those deals with the unions. So there's no downtime. There's no strikes. They're able to make the vehicles and get shit going. And the unions don't become a problem for the Fords moving forward. Maybe later the 70s or 80s, but not during this period. There's harmony. Henry Ford II was created. He changes everything. This is the guy who's responsible for the fucking Mustang. Okay, he is responsible for Detroit's renaissance with automobiles in the 60s. It's this guy, right? And it's not just Ford, it's Chevy, it's Buick, it's GM, it's even stupid American Motors. It is the golden age of automobiles in America. And Henry Ford II is responsible for it. He takes Ford out of the doldrums. He takes Ford into World War II. He takes Ford into the 21st century. He's on the board until the 80s. And I'm looking at this chart, and I'm asking myself, and it says, amazing leader. This guy's an amazing leader. And I would agree, all those things that I just rolled out, not everybody can fucking do that. Where is it in the chart? Well, first of all, he's Aquarius rising. He's got Uranus there. It's right on the ascendant. Retrograde. I mean, this guy's going to play by his own fucking rules. That's number one. Number two, the whole retrograde thing, technology, and being on the line, he's going to revamp that. He's going to revamp basically, if you're looking at a superpower in this guy's chart, it's right there. Do you know what he did? This guy was a womanizer. He was married like 4 times, and every time he married, he fucking upgraded. He's like, I'm not married down. Next one's going to be even better. Married 4 times. Each one of these women were like beautiful, difficult, right? He loved beautiful women. Venus and Libra. He's got Venus and Libra. He was nurtured by beauty and lots of affairs. This motherfucker had affairs. He destroys everything before he passes away. His journals, photos. This guy had a treasure trove of a personal life that no longer exists. He was clear that I'm going to make sure there's very little record of any wrongdoing that I was a part of, right? Me too? Me too what? Me too here. This guy is like, fuck that. But he's this great leader. I'm like, where is he a great leader? He's got Sun in the 7th house. He can negotiate a contract with the unions. He's got Venus sextile Neptune. Well, that's nice. Right? He's easy to get along with. He's easy to do deals with. I get it. He's got Mercury in Libra. Loves beauty. Part of fortune. He's going to find win-wins for people. Like you have to get granular here, because usually it's like, oh, he's a leader. Well, his son's going to be in the 1st house, or his son's going to be in the 10th house, or his son's going to be maybe in the 5th house, or even the 11th house, right? Or maybe the 2nd house. They'll make a shit ton of money. But his son's in the 7th house, so he has to share, right? He has to have partners. And usually when we think of leaders, we don't think of them in that regard. This guy's a leader with Sun in the 7th house. See, there's a reason why I'm telling you this. Because you may be thinking, well, I've got Sun in the 7th house, and I got to think about all these other people. And I've always got to accommodate my clients, and it's like, yeah, you got to share that position with another. Did it keep him from being a leader? No. Now, he was born into it, right? He's born into the Ford fucking family, so he's going to have a better shot. But it still doesn't necessarily guarantee. His father, Edsel, was not a leader. He was not a leader. That's why Henry Ford named the shittiest car he ever made after his son. You don't think that had purpose behind it? Oh, it did. You get your own car. Here you go. It's this mongrel. Why? He resented the fact that his son, who was right, by the way, said people don't want the same car all the time. All these other car companies have different designs. We need that. And eventually, Edsel was right. It leads to this, one of the greatest cars ever made. Engine-wise, the engines on those Mustangs were so simple. There's those 285s, 6 cylinders, sometimes 4, depending on which one you got. They didn't suck a lot of gas. They were nice to look at. They weren't terribly expensive. The Mustang was a breakthrough vehicle. It was meant to compete with, the coupes of Europe. Did a great job. But I look at this chart, I'm like, leader, where? So you look at his ability to negotiate. Okay, Venus, Mercury, sextile, Saturn, Neptune. Yep. The ability to negotiate and make good deals with people, be part of the leadership package? Absolutely. 100%. So we have to redefine what leadership looks like and does. He's able to lead that company, and he did it through a series of negotiations. This is what this guy's superpower was. That, and to re-envision assembly lines. It's an interesting chart. Trudeau, Capricorn, 11th house. That's his destiny. About being a Capricorn, being a CEO. 11th house. He sits on all these fucking boards, all these groups, right? They buy a team. They own the Detroit Lions. It's owned by the Ford family. Was he instrumental in that? I don't know. Maybe. It's an interesting chart. 29 degrees Sun in Aries. 29 degrees Mars in Cancer. Now that's interesting, right? You got a hard square there, 29 to 29. Neither of them have any juice left, but they're both in cardinal signs. And you have to wonder, about the strange alchemy here between Mars and the moon. And the moon in the second house, and the values. He's a fighter. You wouldn't see it. This guy's a fighter. He's got some. It's and at that 29th degree, it's like, here you go. Save the country. Go home. Go to Detroit. Go run that Ford Motor Company and give us some fucking tanks. That's what happened with this guy. 29th degree. Okay. I guess I got to do this. We got to finish this thing out. I got to go wipe out the people that my grandfather's written all these books about. Life is fucking ironic, isn't it? It's really ironic. So there is leadership in here, but again, this guy would make an amazing, detailed analysis of astrology and time, right, and transits and events in his life. You could probably write a book on Henry Ford II and astrology and figure out the how and the why and the where. Because I'm telling you, this guy is huge. He's a giant. Maybe more so than his grandfather. And yet I look at the chart, I go, oh, that's nice. He's got Sun in Virgo at the 7th house, conjunct the vertex at 11 degrees. And it squares Jupiter. That's it. That's the aspect for his son. And I'm being completely honest here. If somebody gave me this chart, and I didn't know it was Henry Ford II, I just knew it was somebody born in September 4th, 1917. I'd have to commit to this chart for a couple of hours and really drill down. really, really drill down. If I did that, I might be able to find Henry Ford II somewhere, or at least the story of the man. But it would take that amount of like attention to detail and really get granular with this. And then you'd have to have the language to articulate. Intercepted house, Pisces. By the way, he drank. He was a big drinker. Hello. Neptune moon square. Chiron, Pisces, intercepted. First house. Eventually, he lived till he was about 80 or so. Last few years of his life, he moves to Europe. He marries some kind of contessa or something. And he just fades out of sight. You know, fade to gray. That's what he did. Fade to gray. And I'm burning everything. You're not going to know shit about who I fucked over. Henry Ford II was your star of the day. Interesting character. Very interesting character. I wish I had more for you about what's going on astrologically right now, but we'll be doing this tomorrow. Knock on wood. Tomorrow's never guaranteed. That is an unfiltered moment. Tomorrow's never guaranteed. I mean, seriously, I could oversleep one of these days. Oh, Robert's just oversleeping. Well, maybe Robert's dead. Maybe Robert's no longer in his body. It can happen to any of us. I know it's morbid. Robert, why are you getting so heavy? Celebrate life. There's so much to celebrate. Yeah, there is. I'm happy. I'm healthy for now. Healthier. We're getting there. We'll be even healthier at some point. All right. Thanks for being here. We're going over to Rumble. We're going to do this. We're going to talk about this Me Too stuff. Not Me Too, I'm sorry. We're going to talk about this Massey stuff and what's happening in Washington and why you're witnessing one of the most important moments in the history of this country. I'm going to make analogies with this that are not going to be made by the astrologers or people that are going to comment on what's taking place in Washington. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. I will stand by my insights, which you've not heard. And I haven't even heard them myself. But I know they're coming. Come join me. Come on, hang out, hit the like, hit the share. And thank you all for being here and being patient, waiting as I continue to work through the situation in my body, which is getting better. And thank you for all of your support. And there are some people that I want to just thank personally here. Tom, for making the call to Larry to get me up this morning. Thank you, Tom. Joan, thank you for being persistent and making sure that I take my pills. God, that sounds so lame, but it's true. It's true. So, Veronica Braley, thank you for offering the healing work. I want to thank you personally here on the show. Out of the kindness of your heart, you've checked in with me. There's so many people that have been really carrying Wit. Shout out to Wit. I could probably spend 30 minutes just mentioning names here. It brings me, really great emotional joy and emotion in general. Just to know that people care. So thank you for all of that. And we'll be back. We'll be back better than even before. I promise you. That's my upgrade. Back and better than before. That's what we should all be looking at. Sometimes it's not always possible, but be back better than before. Okay? Oh, look who's here. Look who's here. We got to go. I got a show to do. We'll see you later.